Okay, happy Friday. This is Miss Triangle. So go ahead and put the date. So that's going to be today's Friday, November 6th, so 10/6/20. And the title 2/8 negative exponents, day 1. All right, then you're going to set up your lines for your Cornell notes. So set up those 3 horizontal lines. 1, skip 2 lines the second one, skip 2 lines the third one, and the vertical line. Then you're going to write your EQ, your essential question. How can we simplify expressions with negative exponents? How can we simplify expressions with negative exponents? Learning target 2F. I can solve problems with negative exponents. And negative exponents are a shortcut for repeated division. All right, then you do need to write this steps and this 2 to the negative 2. So the first step is to make a fraction. Okay, that is step 1, make a fraction. Step 2 is move negative exponents, so just negative exponents, to the other side of the fraction. Okay, so I'll pause for a second. You can pause the video if you need more time. I'll show you what we mean. So if I have 2 to the negative 2, if I follow my steps, first I make a fraction. I'm going to put a 1 on top if there's nothing else to put on top, and I'm going to move the 2 to the negative 2 to the bottom, and it becomes positive when you move it. And then 2 squared is 4. So this is actually equal to 1/4. Okay. For this second one, I make a fraction. The positive stuff, y2 is positive, so that stays on the top. The w to the negative 3, I move it, and it becomes positive. And we'll do some more examples. So if you didn't fully get that, that's fine. Pause the video if you need more time. I'm going to keep going. All right, example problems. If you want to just put EX, that's fine. Make sure you take a second to copy the problem. Simplify. Number 1, 3 to the negative 4th. Number 2, negative 5, Z6, W to the negative 5. All right, so for number 1, I'm going to make a fraction. All I have is a negative exponent. Since I don't have anything else, a 1 goes on top. 3 to the 4th gets moved to the bottom, and when I move it, it becomes positive. Then I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to multiply out 3 to the 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4 3s. So 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3 is 27. Okay, times 1 more 3. So I'm going to get my calculator out. I'm going to see 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. So 1/81 is my final answer. All right, for number 2, I'm going to make my fraction. Now, the positive stuff, just remember this negative 5, that's not an exponent. The invisible exponent on it is a positive 1. So these 2 parts right here have positive exponents, so they are going to stay on the top. A lot of people move the negative 5 to the bottom, but it's not a negative exponent. Right here, this is my negative exponent. That is my problem. I don't want negative exponents, so I'm going to move it to the bottom of the fraction and make it positive. And that is my answer, negative 5 Z6 divided by W to the 5th. All right, let's look at 3 and 4. So these ones are already fractions, so I don't need to do step 1. They're already fractions. So I'm going to just keep a fraction. What I like to do is I like to circle or highlight any problems I see. So this is a problem. It's a negative exponent. This is a problem, negative exponent. Everything else should stay. So 7 should stay where it is. X to the 5 should stay where it is. W should stay where it is. Now the b to the negative 6, since it's negative, is going to come down and become positive. And the y to the negative third, since that is negative, is also going to be flipped and become positive. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and I want you to try number 4 on your own. So try number 4 on your own, see how you do. So again, highlight your problems. It's really only one problem. Everything else should stay exactly where it is. The negative 8 stays, the b to the 7 stays, the c to the 9 stays, the 3 stays, and the f negative 2 is going to get moved up to the numerator or top of the fraction, and when you move it, it becomes positive. So that is my answer. So all I'm doing for these is rewriting them so that there are no negative exponents. All right, now let's get into some problems. So number 5, 7x to the 5th, y to the 3rd, times 2x to the 3rd, y to the negative 10th. Number 6, give yourself a little space, 2a to the 5th, b to the negative 2, times a times b to the negative 3rd. So first of all, I can see this is a multiplication problem. So just to remind you, I'm going to multiply the big numbers, and I'm going to add the exponents. So for my big numbers, I have 7 times 2. 7 times 2 is 14. I'm going to cross those off. I'm done with them. Now let's look at our x's. I have x to the 5th, x to the 3rd. I am adding my exponents. 5 plus 3 is 8. For the y's, I have 3 plus negative 10. 3 plus negative 10. And you can use a calculator. Think about a number line. You're at 3. You're going backwards 10. You're going left 10. That's negative 7. Now I'm almost done, but I don't want a negative exponent in my answer. I don't want this negative exponent in my answer. So I'm going to make a fraction. The positive stuff stays. 14 stays. X to the 8th stays. The y to the negative 7 is going to get put at the bottom or the denominator of my fraction. Okay, you may want to add a number 1 right here to help you with number 6. I would recommend that you pause the video, try it, see how you do on number 6. So 2 times 1, that's what you should be doing to start with. 2 times 1 is 2. For your a's, a5. If there's no number here, it's an a1. 5 plus 1, I get a to the 6th. For the b's, we have b to the negative 2 and b to the negative 3. Negative 2 plus negative 3 is negative 5. Then I need to rewrite this because I don't want a negative exponent. So I have a problem. Right here is my problem. I'm going to make a fraction. Everything that's not a problem is going to stay. So 2a to the 6th will stay, divided by b to the 5th. This is a 6. All right, let's try some division. So I'm actually... All right, so we have 7x to the 5th, b to the negative 6th. Okay, so take a second to write down these problems. All right, so for the fraction for the numbers, 7 divided by 11 here, that is just going to stay. Those are positive numbers. They're going to stay where they are. Okay, for the x's, I have x5 and x3. Remember, for division, you subtract the exponents. Subtract the exponents. So 5 minus 3 is 2. Since that's a positive 2, that's going to go on the top of my fraction. I'm going to cross off this stuff. Now I am on the b's. So I have b negative 6 and b 2. So I'm doing negative 6 minus 2. This is for the b's, which is negative 8. Since I don't want a negative, I'm going to put b to the 8th on the bottom or denominator of my fraction. For the a's, I have a2. So I have 2 minus a negative 6. 2 minus a negative 6. 2 negatives, that changes to positive. Positive 8. Since it's positive, it stays on the top. Lastly, we just have this W, and it's positive, so it will stay where it is. All right, let's look at number 8. So I'm going to make my fraction. The 5 is positive, so it's going to stay where it is. The 5 is done. Let's do the W's. So for the W's, I'm going to write out I have -1 on top minus 5. -1 minus 5, you can use a calculator. That's -6. Since it's negative, I put it in the denominator to show division. For the H's, I have 5 minus -2. 5 minus -2 is a 7. Since it's positive, it goes on the top. Remember, those two negatives changes to plus. Okay. Lastly, for the K's, this is a tough one. I have -7 minus -3. All right, the two negatives in the middle change to plus. So I have -7 plus 3, -6, -5, -4. Since it's negative, where should it go? It should go on the bottom and make it positive. There you go. All right, here is a summary. Negative exponents are a shortcut for repeated what? A shortcut for repeated what? Not multiplication, but repeated division. Move all negative exponents to the other side, not the bottom, but the other side of the fraction line. So pause the video if you need to, all right? And on Monday, we will work on the homework for this and practice problems together so you'll get more help with this.